Hi friends, it's Sunday, August 31st, 2014. Lynn, Dana, Jamie here, continuing our assignment in asking for instruction on what our intentions are for today's session. We got a signal that indicated we should probably still be working with this sensation of the absence of earth. It continued to be has continued to be obvious up to this very moment. And in addition, there is a sensation of being almost out of time, having a lot of time pressure. So our intentions for this session are to heal the root causes of these two kinds of sensations and whatever they represent in such a way as to align the biosphere with its soul plan and trigger the awakening whose time has come. Now we begin. Washing away all those unexamined statements that society hands us that simply aren't true.
That is true.
Washing them away.
Seeing again that space where Earth used to be, where it felt like we could swing through it like on a swing set.
Yes.
There's still plenty of debris.
A lot.
A lot of debris.
I see debris of various, it's acts of warfare.
Oh, interesting.
And they're in layers, like you would find in sedimentary rock. They're and just like you would find it, actually. Look at all these wars, and this is chronological order. Newest on top, oldest on bottom. It's fascinating, actually. Let's clear it out. You see an army hat? Cool. What kind of army hat?
The green one. It's an American one, I think.
An American one.
I think it's an American hat.
Yeah. Somebody is holding it up right in front of us right here. All right. It feels sad.
It's really sad.
Really sad.
That was not what the hat intended to be.
No. It wasn't what the military was supposed to do.
That's
or be.
True.
So who among us hasn't hurt ourselves with self-sabotage? Isn't warfare actually an act of self-sabotage for humanity as a whole? And really for the biosphere as a whole, warfare is hugely destructive environmentally. It isn't just humankind that suffers through its craziness of warfare. Everyone suffers, right?
Right.
And some sensation of a clock. There's someone. It's a Salvador Dali clock. You know the melted clocks? Interesting. What does that mean?
It doesn't feel like it's a distorted clock in a realistic world. It feels like it's a distorted clock in a distorted world. Everything appears to be twisted around it.
Oh, good point.
Including time. It all seems to be twisted.
Distorted. Oh, like we, quote unquote, have all the time in the world, unquote, when we actually don't. Right. That is the story that society hands us, right? We're still throwing our garbage around like there's no tomorrow, right?
Right.
Distorted time perceptions, right? We think we have all the time in the world, but really we have a melted clock. Any objective observer can see we're out of time. Out of time. Stop pretending like there is another day to push this to and do it right now. So each of us can do something. We can all do something to help the greater good. We can. There is something that each of us can do. It's easy to get overwhelmed when we start to talk about the big picture and feel like, what can I do? But there is always something that each of us can do. We can start small and take an action, and then take a larger action, and a larger one, and a larger one. And in such a way, we can get in motion and make a difference. Just like we're just spitting in the wind here with this big pile of, like lake of loogie, like a sea and ocean, a space where Earth once was, and now there's only regret left. And so now, but it's like these things, they're skeletons, but it's like skeletons that were guarding valuable things.
Right, it's like jewels with skeletons
draped over them, yes.
It looks like what the skeletons were
guarding.
Guarding.
That's it, what the skeletons...
It looks like treasure.
Well, it looks like treasure, but it doesn't feel like treasure.
Right, it doesn't feel like treasure.
It's like something to walk away from
not
fast.
something, right, not something you want to spend your time guarding.
It feels like something to walk away from fast.
Yeah.
Not slow, but fast. Get away from it fast.
Yeah.
What is it? These people who died clutching it seem to think it's of value. It's their favorite things. They're things that they... I like my iPod.
Yeah.
I like my this. I like my
air
that.
conditioner.
My air conditioner, yes. The things that we hold on to that it's time to let go of.
Pastime.
Pastime, good point. Things that we are holding on to that it's past time to let go of.
It's pastime. They're skeletons.
They are skeletons. Let it go. Okay, so he's talking about how both attributes are needed. You know, how we need the courage of the adventurer and the action orientation of the adventurer.
The mindfulness
of a scholar. Okay, what do I notice? I can't help but notice that this energy sensation of Earth's being gone is still very strong.
Yeah.
And we can find the space where Earth was, has always been, ever since we've been aware of this in this life. And it's filled with skeletons holding on to jewels and moldy substances, moldy rubble.
Yeah, big regret.
Big regret, huge regret.
And also not wanting to admit mistakes.
Not wanting to admit mistakes. Wanting to say, no, that wasn't a mistake. Oh! So not only do we have regret of the errors that we have admitted, but we have a huge resistance to admitting our errors. So who among us doesn't have this?
Oh,
me too. Hi, Charlie.
How can we be of service?
Well, we have to get our attitudes right first and admit our own mistake.
That is true.
And he's showing very generously, using himself as an example, how he himself still has this as a growth issue, admitting mistakes right away, no hesitancy to say, well, wow, that was a mistake.
And then immediately working to make it right.
Yes.
Do you see, it's like he has a scrapbook.
Yeah.
My big book of mistakes.
Yeah, you see it.
Do you see that?
Yes.
It's like he's going, this one. Look at that one. Yeah, that doozy. It's great.
My big book of
mistakes. My big book of mistakes.
Well, here's my big book of mistakes.
Here's my big book
I believe
of
my book is bigger. It's a bigger book and the mistakes are bigger. He says it's just perspective.
Yeah.
And that our mistakes always look bigger to us. Oh, fascinating.
Our mistakes always, that is what he said. Exactly. It's perspective. Yeah. Our mistakes look bigger to us.
Fascinating. And so as a result, we're more tempted to bury them deep.
Right. We think that ours are the biggest mistakes.
And that therefore we can't acknowledge them to ourselves and we must suppress them right away, push them down right away. They said, what did I skip over too soon? Earlier in the session, there was a discussion about how the lies of society are everywhere and they're unexamined by and large. And so there are things in our back that we believe to be true, but aren't true.
That is
true
right.
At all. And so we have just skipped over that. La-ti-da, they're showing la-ti-da, skipping with a basket of flowers as if that wasn't there.
So what I'm seeing is like, you know how porcelain dolls are put on stands that hold them on the back?
Yeah.
It's like we think we have stands that we can lean on, but actually they're dragging on the ground when we try to walk.
Yeah.
You see that? It's like porcelain dolls trying to walk with the stands on.
Yes. That doesn't seem like a good idea. No good. It's like I see flaming heads, like statues, but the heads are talking.
Yeah.
And because we're burning our life, everything is on fire. And they're choosing to stick to the lie. They're choosing to stick to the lie. That's what they're choosing. They're choosing to stick with the lie. Wow. Check me on that.
That is true.
they'll go out with the lie. They would rather go burn with the lie. Check me on that.
Yeah.
They'd rather burn with the lie than let go.
Like the skeletons gripping the treasure.
Oh,
They would
exactly.
rather just grip the treasure until they die, the quote-unquote treasure,
It's
than
the same
let
thing.
it go.
You're right. Showing us the same thing, two different ways.
There are rules to cleaning out the wreckage. I mean, a lot of it, like I said, seems to have to do with attitude, about how you go about cleaning the wreckage.
Well, they're saying, now what do you know? I know that we can only heal what we can merge with,
That's
what we
true.
can sustain a merge with, actually. We can't force a healing on anyone or anything.
That's true.
And so we can only, to the extent that we ourselves are willing to acknowledge, like really willing to acknowledge in the depths of our soul what we're unwilling to do, can we heal others who are also unwilling to do that? Does that make sense?
That's true.
So what are we unwilling to let go of?
It's also dark in here.
Very, very, very dark and hot and smelly.
Yeah.
And the noises are beginning to be heard. And it's getting more and more and more intense. And we're just walking down. He's showing us things. Markings on the walls.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
markings on the walls.
And it's kind of like high-level lines. It's like, this used to come to here, this used to come to there. Like
watermarks.
Watermarks, yes. This used to come to here, this used to come to there. Truthfulness, integrity. Oh!
It feels like this used to be full of truth.
Right. Oh.
Right,
Well, spiral stairs. We're just going down. This is like the descent into hell. Is covered by consists of this destruction of our values. You know, watermarks are those things. Wow, he's showing us where things used to be, or where there used to be, what's needed now, and where they are now.
Yeah,
it's the high water mark of here's how high it ever was before.
Right.
The low where it is now, which in every single case seems to be
way down,
way down,
like, almost like a puddle on the floor,
or just a wet spot.
Yeah.
And then what's needed is way higher than any previous high mark.
Right. Huge.
And there it all is like willingness, and it's like we've got so much laziness. It's just like a puddle of willingness, rather than an ocean. Check me on this. Courage. Flat to the floor, almost dry.
Yeah.
Everybody giving into fear all the time. There's no courage there, right? And look what the courage is that's necessary, right?
Huge courage.
However, look at the courage that used to be there. It was actually almost enough.
Decent.
And now integrity is like dry land, cracked mud. There's no integrity. And there's a fair amount of integrity needed.
Yeah, big integrity
like
needed.
Way up there. Check me on it.
Yeah.
And now here's humility. Higher dimension beings know best, right?
Right.
Again, it looks there's
cracked,
dry, and needs to be like an ocean deep, right?
Oh yeah.
And then trust.
Yeah, trust.
There's an acceptable, well, not acceptable,
That's not acceptable.
But it's not acceptable. But there's more than there was of the previous items. It's better.
That's true.
Better than humility, better than integrity.
It's a splashable puddle.
It's a splashable puddle. You're right. You can splash your feet. It can get water onto the tops of your feet if you splash.
Yeah.
And again, it needs to be very, very, very deep. Huge. And now selflessness. There isn't even a drop. Nothing.
Selflessness.
Nothing there. And what's needed is an ocean.